So today's talk is called Stop Selling Yourself Short. And the reason it's called that is because selling yourself short is a really, really common failure in business owners. I can see people nodding everywhere. So it's very, very hard for people to stand up and tell other people what is so good about them and what they do. So unfortunately, though, it's the one thing in your business that you have to get really good at, because there is literally nobody else that can do that for you. You can outsource everything except being great and delivering great value to your customers. So you have to learn how to do this. And I know it's not easy. I find it quite hard. I'm going to stand in front of you today and tell you quite a lot about myself and why I think what we do here is really great. And it doesn't come that easily, but hopefully I have learned how to do it along the way. So this is a key content session. Stuart touched on that. We run them every month. This one is about delivering value or understanding your value proposition. It's to help you articulate what it is that you do in your business that is really, really valuable to your customers. We're going to divide today more or less into 3 parts. This is the bit, the first 45 minutes, where I'm going to talk to you. It's a little bit chatty. There's some interactive stuff as well. But basically, I'm going to tell you what a value proposition is, why you need one, and how to create one. After the break, we have a worksheet that's going to help you take that value proposition to the next level. So you're going to start thinking about how you develop your own value proposition. What are you going to tell your customers that's going to make them really excited about working with you? Then after lunch, we have Jane Woodyer, who is our marketing strategist here at the Hub and has been working with me on all of this stuff about the last 7 years. And she's not in the room right now, but she's going to be around after lunch. She's around the corner, apparently. She's going to be around after lunch, and any Hub members that want to understand how they take their value proposition and extrapolate that out to create all kinds of different marketing messages that we call a brand matrix. Jane is going to be around, and she's offering to spend time one-on-one with anybody who feels that they're ready to take that value proposition and create marketing messages from it. So that's what's happening today. Lots of value. Those of you who are at Jumpstart January will be familiar with this slide, because this is the slide where we bring lots of energy into the room by getting everybody to stand up and talk to each other, and we're going to get to know our neighbours. So I want you all to stand up, please. It's very warm in here, actually. Are there any windows that we can open? Stand up. You're going to get 45 seconds to tell the other person what you do. So I want you to face the person next to you. Face somebody next to you. Hang on. Wait. We haven't started yet. Blimey. I just want to make sure that everybody has a pair. Is there anybody that doesn't have a partner that they're standing next to? Anyone? Okay, somebody stand with Kelly, one of the staff, if there isn't anyone else. Jane, thank you. Anybody else not got a partner? Fantastic. Right, I'm going to ring a bell. We're going to start 45 seconds. One of you is going to talk. Then there's going to be another bell, and you're going to swap over. Okay? Not just have a free for all. Ready? Go. Okay, swap. Blimey, it's quite a hard room to manage, so noisy. All right, settle down. Okay. So, who would like to share with the room some information about their neighbour? Who learned something interesting about their neighbour and wants to introduce them to the rest of us? Anyone says? Neville.
Yeah, he's a photographer, but not...
So what's his name, sorry? Mark, thanks.
He is a photographer,
That's right.
but not for personal photography, weddings or anything like that. Very specific. He helps commercial photography.
Okay.
So if you've got products that you need to put in a good light, professional imagery of that, that's the sort of thing he will do. So it's things to do with your business that you want to visually get out there in a professional manner.
Okay. So you help your customers put their business in its best light, effectively. Perfect. Lovely. Anybody else want to volunteer, Stuart?
This is Shana. She
runs
the Petersfield Alternative Therapy Centre. Centre for Complementary Medicine. Very difficult to hear. As well as being a landlord and something else, and I can't remember it. And Reiki practitioner.
And jewellery, online jewellery business.
Wow. Just got it all.
So how do you help your customers? You're going to pick one set of customers.
Sorry?
How would you help your customers if you pick one set? Obviously, you have multiple sets of customers. Makes life quite complicated.
It does make it a bit complicated. So if I think about the centre, which is probably the one I'm clearest about, the centre's been running for 25 years. We have a fantastic team of skilled and very experienced practitioners. Some have been with the centre over 20 years. So we've just done some feedback over January, and the things that were mentioned were helpful staff, calm, peaceful environment, knowledgeable practitioners, empathetic, and the length of relationship that people build with
Okay,
practitioners.
perfect. So what you give your customers is a beautiful, peaceful environment where they can fully relax, knowing that they're in safe hands. Lovely. Okay, fantastic. Anybody else want to volunteer some information about their neighbour? Sorry, Russell, and then Sarah, and then we'll... Russell.
This is Keith. Keith works in the GDPR sector. He does training to both small businesses, SMEs, and large corporates. One thing I got from what Keith said was it's important to the whole team, all members of the team understand GDPR. That's important.
I think if you work in the GDPR industry, absolutely, you're a B2B and you are selling peace of mind to business owners. It's a terrifying subject. I don't know if you all agree with me, but yes, anybody who can make that clear and concise and make me feel very safe that I'm doing it right is very valuable to me, so thank you. Sarah?
I've met Katie.
Hello, Katie.
I found out about Katie that she completely trained in one area of work and then was completely retrained
Okay.
in a new area of work and started her business in the therapy business, and very brave thing to do, and she's focused on making sure that her customers will have the right therapies for them.
I see. So you offer multiple therapies?
Not really. We recently trained as a beauty therapist.
Mm-hmm.
My degree is a human resources person, and I have a lot of ideas how I would like to be treated. So I'm thinking, if it's me who would like to be treated this way, maybe other women, men,
Okay.
get the same approach.
Okay, so are your customers therapists then? Am I understanding that correctly?
No.
Your customers are your B2C. Okay. Okay. So, but your unique selling point. How do you sell yourself as different to other therapists?
My selling point is in my head still.
Okay. Well, maybe not by the end of today. That would be great. Okay. Perfect. You've come here at the right time. Okay. So we found out a little bit about everybody in the room. Thank you for those of you who've introduced yourselves to us as a group. This is a bit where I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, who I am. So my name is Emma Selby. I'm the founder of Signal. Many of you know that part. But I wasn't always a small business specialist. My journey has not been one that travelled particularly in a straight line. I'm sure I have that in common with most of you. We all come to business from very, very different routes. So I thought it might be useful to explain how I came to be here doing this, standing in front of you, talking about value propositions today. And in fact, 2 people have already asked me today how I came to be here doing this in this building. And I thought, oh, it's perfect, because I'm just about to tell you all about it. So I started my working life as a journalist. I always wanted to be a journalist. That's what I set out to be, and that's what I did. I studied Russian at university. And I went off to Russia and lived in Moscow and got a job with the BBC, and that was fabulous. Learned to speak fluent Russian, came back to England and got a job with an oil publication called Petroleum Argus in London. Sorry, someone at the door. Okay. So this oil publication, so I was a Russian specialist, and I worked on oil pipelines. So my job was to ring up people all along the Friendship Pipeline and all along the very controversial gas and oil pipelines across the Trans-Caucasus and try and set prices in dollars and latterly in rubles. So I had extensive knowledge of this pipeline network of the former Soviet Union. And then I also took up skydiving around about the same time and became a passionate competitive skydiver, traveling around Europe with my team, spending a lot of time training and learning how to pack parachutes and so on as well. So what happened was these two things rapidly became really incompatible because I only got 4 weeks holiday in my journalist career. So I decided I was going to have to leave the day job and become a full-time skydiver, which is what I did at that point. I guess you've all been there, right? 4 weeks is not very long to pursue a passion and a hobby. So I briefly considered a career at this point with MI6, having my extensive knowledge of oil pipelines all across the Trans-Caucasus and my knowledge of Russian and my skydiving skills. And in fact, I did, and I was turned down, but that is another story. So I set off my parachute packing career. Didn't make me very much money, so I spent all of my time on the drop zone, and I'm absolutely going to bet this has happened to lots of you, trying to work out how I can make enough money from skydiving that I could spend the rest of my life living on a drop zone. So I started up a company, obviously, selling and making clothes for competitive skydivers. And that company was called Longrig Sportswear. And any of you who've read my LinkedIn profile will know this story. I'm not going to go into it now. You can link in with me and you can read all about what happened to this company. Suffice to say, for the purposes of this morning, that I worked very, very hard at it, getting it off the ground. It did become relatively successful in some ways. It probably looked quite good from the outside, but what actually happened was it grew in ways that were not sustainable, that were not profitable. I became very, very tired. I worked incredibly hard. I worked harder and harder, and I got myself into this very familiar cycle. I can see lots of people nodding, working harder and harder, and it's still not working. Even though the product is selling, the customers like the product, there's nothing apparently wrong except that it just isn't working. So what I didn't do at that point was ask for any help from anybody, because I thought I could figure it out, and I just ploughed on. I didn't know anybody else who was trying to run a business at the time. I didn't really know where to get help, actually, looking back. So what I did, I had a baby, and then just after that, I sold the business. I was like, okay, right, and I was so relieved that day, I cannot tell you, to get rid of this thing. It had just become a bit of a nightmare in my life. It was so complicated, so that was that. And I had 3 children, and I pursued lots of different careers. But I kept thinking, what was it? That business had huge potential. And I've got great potential. So what was it that went wrong? What did I need to be in place that would have stopped that lovely business ending the way it did and having to be sort of passed on in some disarray to somebody else? So some years later, I started the Farnham Hub. At the time, I had my own business, again, this time as a bookkeeper. Things got a little bit stale. I was looking around for other things to do. And I thought, right, this is the time. I want to find out who else is running businesses in this town. And I want to put in place the thing that I think I should have had back then, 10 years ago, when I was starting up my first business. And that is how the Farnham Hub came to be. And here we are in the Farnham Herald. Still got the same relationship with the same newspaper. There's Jane. I don't know if she's Jane and I, right at the beginning, that's 7 years ago, 2012. Oh, 8 years ago now. The business mums launched their hub Brainchild. So this hub was a little bit different to the one we see today, partly because it was mainly based around coffee, cake, and small children. we had a crash. And so, yeah, it evolved very quickly. We got rid of the crash really fast. It was just a nightmare. And it became the much more serious business training provider that you see here today. So why I'm telling you all of this today is because when I set up the Farnham Hub, because of my experience 10 years before, I was very, very clear about the problem that I was setting out to solve, because I had been through it. And many of you will be in this position too, that you're solving a problem that you have yourself experienced. So I was very clear on the value proposition. I knew what I was solving. I knew who I was solving it for. I knew exactly how I wanted to solve it. And I just had to basically work on how was I going to do that in a way that made the customers feel really looked after and really valuable. And that's really what I've been doing for the next 7 years. As soon as I got this all sorted out, I started to hustle. And I really hustled. And I went up to London and I networked like crazy. And I spoke to everybody that I thought was important. And I got to speak to people in the government. And the next thing that happened was I was invited up to speak to David Cameron's business advisors at Downing Street to tell him what I thought small businesses, how I thought the government should be looking after small businesses. That's great, right? There's the sort of thing that happens once you can explain to people the value of what you're doing and who you're doing it for. What happened immediately after that was that I was made Regional Enterprise Champion for Surrey and Hampshire. And then we entered and won something called the Exciting New Business Award in 2014. And that meant, as Stuart will remember, that we got a premises. The first prize for this competition was a premises in the country market in Borden. And that's kind of the first step, was how we ended up being here in Borden. So there I am, the business, it was still being built, the building. I don't know if you remember, the country market burned down in 2013 and it was rebuilt in 2014. And there we are, well, there I am. Stuart's there as well, because I think you took the photo, Stuart. Yes. So there we are in front of our new premises, and here we are inside the premises, and that was really when the hub started to really take shape. So the value proposition, that is why I'm standing here telling you that the value proposition is really, really important. Because if you can explain to everybody you meet why you are relevant to them and why you're going to make them feel great, why spending time with you is going to make them better, happier, wealthier, then doors will start to open for you. So I was going to say this is the single most important thing that you can do for your business. And then I remembered that last month we said, what did we say was the most important thing to do in your business? The single most important thing that you have to do in your business every day.
Finding and keeping customers.
That's what we told you last month. There it is. So I'm just going to say that understanding your value is an absolutely essential step that you have to be able to demonstrate, articulate, explain before you're going to find any customers. Because if you can't explain to people why you are relevant and why you are valuable, you're never going to find or attract any customers at all, right? And the more you understand how to explain to people how valuable you are, the better you're going to be at finding and keeping customers. How did I do? So, okay, today's learning. Stuart touched on this earlier. We have something we've given out to everybody who came to Jumpstart January, and we've also given it out to all our existing members. It's an orange folder with a Jumpstart Biz Hub guide in it. Hang on a second. It looks like that. Okay, put your hand up in the air if you've got one of those. You know what I'm talking about, right? Good. So at the back of that, we have this. It's called My Growth Planner, and February's theme is delivering value, and this talk is part of that. And as Stuart said, here are the other 9 months of content that you're going to get this year at the Hub, laid out, so you can just have a little look in there. If you can't wait to have the content delivered over 10 months, don't worry, because I have written a guide to the Growth Planner. It's on our website, and you just have to go to signalborden.org/MGP, and there is a document that will, or a book, I like to call it, a short book, which will explain how to fill out every section of this Growth Planner. Now, the Growth Planner is a one-page business planning tool. You've all seen business plans, you've probably written them. They're usually quite weighty, quite tedious, quite boring documents. and people write them and they never look at them ever again. This is different. It's a one-pager, everything that goes on in your business on one page. You can rewrite it every week if you like, and throw it away and start again. It's a really, really easy tool, and that's why we're using it to base our teaching on this year. Right, everybody still with me? Good, excellent. Okay, we've been calling it a value proposition, but a value proposition is really quite a dull term. And it's easily confused with lots of other things that are flying around, like, for example, a value statement, which is different. A value statement is a statement of values that you share inside your company, loyalty, integrity, customer service, that sort of thing. It's not that. The value of your company, something you talk about when you go to mergers, acquisitions, exits, pounds, assets, knowledge base, and so on, it's not that either. It's not a mission statement. A mission statement states why you exist, and it's not a vision statement, because a vision statement explains where you're taking your company in the future. A value proposition explains why you are relevant to your customers. So I think it ought to be called a customer proposal. So hold that thought, because we're coming back to that later. There we are again. February. Okay. Those of you who were at the 60-minute MBA in January with Peter Maservi, we ran a 60-minute MBA, for those of you who weren't here, with an former MBA professor, condensing the entire Master of Business Administration into 60 minutes. And he started off this presentation by saying, your business is a value delivery system. That's what it is. And yet, most business owners cannot explain what the value is in their business to a customer. And there we have the problem. And my question today is, can you? And if you can't, don't worry, because we're going to do it right now. So your value proposition, or your customer proposal, tells your customers why they might want to buy from you. Can I have some more water? Thank you. And the easiest way to do this is to break it down into 5 questions. So just so you know, you will get a PDF of this afterwards, and the video also will be posted on the website. So you will be able to catch up with all of this later. You don't need to take extensive notes. So what problem are you solving? So in the case of the medical centre, you're solving the problem that people want medical help, but it's not medical help. You want alternative medical or complementary medical help.
So they've got a problem that either hasn't responded or is unlikely to respond to.
Thank you very much.
Or they don't want to use drugs, or there's a whole range of reasons why.
Okay, so they have an illness or a condition or a problem that they're coming to you with, and you're going to solve that problem for them. And it's all in one place, presumably, as well, so perfect. Who are you solving the problem for? Is everybody clear on this? Everybody know who their customer is? If you're not clear, we do come onto this next month in March, and we will be running a workshop on really getting to grips with who their ideal customer is and why, and then it will fit nicely into this bit of why they might want to buy from you. But you need to know who you're solving the problem for. I'm going to do some examples in a minute. What results are you going to deliver? So in the case of, I think the most traditional example of this is the drill bit. People sell drill bits. They're not selling drill bits. People aren't buying drill bits. They're buying a hole in the wall. So the result you're delivering is not a lovely Kircher drill. The result you're delivering is a nice hole in the wall where people want it. They don't want a drill. They want a hole in the wall. Okay? What result are you giving? What makes you different? What makes you unique? What is it that you bring to this that nobody else can? This will partly be about your why. Like why are you doing this business? Why you? Why did you get here? I've told you my story, why I'm doing this, because I have a personal experience of how it feels not to have this. And what makes us different, I will come on to what makes us different here. But what makes you different is what you bring, your history, your views, the way you deliver it. And then what is the wider or deeper impact of what you do? So not just the immediate result that you give somebody, but the wider result that will have perhaps on their family, perhaps on the environment, perhaps on the people around you, perhaps on their company. What is the wider or deeper impact? So, I said earlier that I don't think we should call this a value proposition. I think we should call this a customer proposal, because it's all about how you're going to make the customer feel. So, when you propose to somebody, you are telling them why the best thing they could possibly do in that moment is commit to spending more time with you. All with me? That's what you're doing. That's what you want to be doing when you're speaking to a customer. Okay? So when you propose to somebody, you're telling them, hopefully in a way that they're going to really appreciate, that by spending time with you, you're going to make them happier. You're going to make them the happiest person in the world. You're going to make them feel safe and secure. That by spending time with you, they won't have to ever worry about anything ever again. You are going to make their life so much better. You're going to make them feel like the most beautiful woman in the world every single day. You're going to make them sleep better at night. That by spending time with you, you're going to make them, hopefully, the richest person in the world. You're going to give them a castle, sports car. You're going to make them feel fantastic. You're going to make them successful. They're going to feel more healthy when they're with you. So all of that. That's why I think we should call this a customer proposal. So if you bear that in mind, when you're trying to write, why am I relevant to my customers? Think, how would I propose to my customer? How would I make them feel that spending time with me was simply the best possible decision they can make today? Sound like a good idea? Okay, so the next bit, who wants to propose to me? Anyone? Anyone got a customer proposal? Can anyone brave enough to come up with a customer proposal? Emma. Oh, sorry, Anna then. You've got just got away with that one. Anna.
So if you have a blockage, we'll get your house back to normal as quickly
Yeah.
as possible, and we'll treat your home like we would treat you.
Lovely. So literally, I'm going to get your toilet flowing again. You're actually going to get my toilet flowing again this afternoon. So thank you, Anna, for that, trained doctor. So, but that's really important because people's homes, what make them feel safe and secure and happy. And if your home isn't working, you're not happy, and your children aren't happy, and your husband's not happy, and no one's happy. So that's what you're selling. So excellent. Anybody else want to propose to me? Neville.
So, on B, are you stuck not realising your dreams and your business not achieving it? And would you love to have the confidence and freedom of a business running with endless consistent leads?
You're going to make my dreams come true. Perfect. Excellent. Anyone else? No.
With my Photoshop skills, I can make you look 10 years younger.
Perfect. Yeah. Anyone got some face cream? No? Perfect. So really good examples. So thank you for that. So let's just run through some basic, some business examples, and then you can tell me what the proposal is at the end. Okay? So this is Dave, the accountant. He manages the accounts not just of anybody, but of freelance consultants. And he likes to work with consultants in the top earning bracket because he knows that he can save them the most money. And the difference with Dave is that he also understands that his clients really want to save time. So his proposal to them perhaps is he's going to save them time as well as money, which means that they have more time with their family and more money to spend on the people that they love. So I've kind of done it for you on that one. So we won't go on the next one. So, cleaning company. Checking you're listening. Okay, so we specialise in local surgery cleaning, dental, medical and vets. That's not the first one that's meant to come up. Oh, sorry, For some reason, these automations have gone in the wrong order. So we'll start with, we have 20 fully trained teams cleaning across 10 towns. That's what we do. We specialise in local surgery cleaning, dental, medical and vets. Why not? I'm obviously just making this up. The value in us, we deliver exceptional cleanliness and hygiene standards. Isn't that right, Emma? Yeah. And maintaining our reputation is incredibly important to us, as we have won multiple awards for outstanding attention to detail and customer satisfaction. Which means that when you book us, you know that you can enjoy complete safe, peace of mind. So the proposal is... total peace of... Emma, do you want to do it?
Yeah, I think, because obviously I'm slightly different.
You're a different kind of cleaner. Do you want to do a different one?
But yeah, I'm going to propose that I'm going to eradicate, I don't know if that, this is not where to describe it, what's popped into my mind is just eradicating the environment of the germs and viruses that you don't want.
Okay. So you're going to free my home of germs and viruses. That's particularly relevant today, I think. Can you deal with the coronavirus? That'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I think me going on from there, but on the whole, where are we? Starting 20 trained teams, using particular techniques can actually save your time and money, so
Okay.
they can go off and do something else.
So this idea of your fully trained teams is really relevant then?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And your proposal to me is that I will have a germ-free house forever?
Yeah.
Or build business?
You might need to use scan to maintain that, but yeah.
If I if I work with you every day. Okay, I definitely want to hang out more with you. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay, next one, a little bit closer to home. Just a business training provider, looking a little bit like this one. That's Vanessa, by the way, for those of you who don't know her. So a business training provider, what do we do? Well, we offer flexible workspace, events and business training for small... Who do we do it for? Well, we do it for you guys, but it's small business owners and the self-employed. The result that we give you, we de-risk your business activities. We develop your skills, we measure your progress. So we stop you making mistakes and we offer you affordable workspace on a short-term rental. So that's the de-risking. And we measure your progress. How are we different? Well, we also spend a lot of time listening to your challenges, masterminds, one-on-ones, and we connect you to solutions, new opportunities and new prospects. And what is the wider impact of that? You feel more connected, more empowered and more confident, allowing you to grow your business and in turn, and this is the even wider impact, help other people to grow theirs, because that's really important in this community as well. So, what problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? What result will you deliver? What makes you different or unique? And what is the wider impact of you really understanding how to deliver this to your customers? What is the wider impact for them? So that is the value proposition. It's not complicated. There's not a great deal of technical information for you today. It's really quite a simple idea, but it's one that's very important and important that we spend time thinking about and do in a measured way. We haven't, sorry?
Can I just make a comment?
Yeah.
Because to me, I mean, I fully get what you're saying, but to me, almost it's the wrong way up.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a customer, my prime interest isn't whether you've got 20 people or 10 people or 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's what can you do for me?
That's right. So it's just the way we work through it to get to the key.
Yeah.
You're saying the key point is the one at the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
Absolutely. The key point is the proposal at the end.
Yeah.
So obviously I have to tell you that I'm a business service
Sure,
training provider
sure,
and I have
yeah,
offices,
yeah.
but that's not really what you're interested in. You're interested in the fact that I'm going to help you succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Did everybody else get that? That the really important part about this is the final step. The rest of it, the final step is really, really important. The proposal, the bit where you tell somebody that by working with you, they are going to feel happier, healthier, they're going to live longer, they're going to look younger, it's all going to be wonderful. That's that bit. So we haven't got time to go into adding value much this morning, so I'm just going to quickly go through 3 ways that you can quickly add value to your business, and then we have some tips about how you can go away and look all that up afterwards. So adding value in 3 different ways. The first one is really obvious, I think. When you've got the value proposition sorted out and you've got people in your business, you've got a lot of customers that you work with, what do you do next? It's your job as a business owner to continually improve the value that you deliver. Your business is a value delivery system, and that continues on long after you have customers, even as many customers as you want, because if you don't continually revise and add value, you will start to lose relevance. So listen to your customers. Send out a survey. Talk to them. Ask for feedback. Continually make sure that you are listening to what your customers are saying, not just to you. You can also keep an eye on what they're saying on the internet. You can put out a Google alert, for example, which will alert you when anybody mentions your company or your name anywhere on the internet. It's a useful thing to do. That's Google alerts. So listen to your customers. Improve your customer service. This is something that can always be done. There is always improvements to be made in customer service. You're never finished in this area. So even if you're on your own, can you improve the way that your phone is answered? Can you make sure it's answered all the time? I know we say don't always pick up the phone, so could you get in something like, what's it called, call answering service? There's one that I can't remember exactly what it's called. Somebody might be able to help me. I think it's called Answer, where you pay £1. What's it called? All day PA, and it's very inexpensive, and it means that your phone is answered by a real human being all times of day and night, even when you're busy doing other things. So that's one quick improvement you can make to your customer service today. Something else you can do is become a trusted authority, and this is about making sure that people know about your expertise. You're all experts in something. You can all publish an article in the local paper. Colin is desperate for articles about business locally. You can all write blogs. You can all post videos on YouTube. So the idea with becoming a trusted authority is that your customers will feel that they're in good hands, and that's of great value to them. They will also have social proof, because if other people are going around saying how great you are, that makes them feel good about buying from you as well. So it makes your customers feel good. It makes your prospects feel good. It's really worth spending some time on. Some quick ways to get this stuff done. Use SurveyMonkey. Create a free online survey of 10 questions. It will take about 2 hours of your time. It doesn't cost anything, and you can send that survey out to all of your customers and just get a little bit of an idea about what's going on out there. We did it last year, and we've acted on so many different points. We learned so much. Our customers told us a great deal. We have the chairs, for example, as a result of that, nice comfortable chairs. So my next tip at this point is, if you are still not sure why you are the right person to deliver everything that you do, and you're not sure yet what your why is, the story I told you before, that was my why, how I came to be doing this, why I'm doing it, why I believe it's valuable. If you're not sure about that, I recommend you watch this video. It's called Start With Why. There's a book as well, but it's a very short video that you can watch. I think it's less than 20 minutes. And yeah, start with why, and it will really help you get clarity on why you are doing what you're doing, and if in fact you're doing the right thing. So this diagram is Simon Sinek's very basic diagram that says everybody knows what they do. Most people know how they do it. Very few people can explain why they're doing it. Okay, so a little bit about what we've been talking about today. And my final tip today is that if you are interested in becoming more of an authority in what you do, I really recommend that you read this book by Daniel Priestley. Again, it will take you about 2 hours to read, maybe. It's absolutely full of tips about how to become somebody who is known who become an influencer in your sphere. So you all have a niche, you all have something you do. How do you become an influencer? It's open to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're a plumber or an alternative health provider, rain hat maker. You can all become influencers in your field just by writing a few articles, maybe writing a book if you're a bit more ambitious. just on this, so I write a column. I mean, it's just all about showing up, isn't it, really? It's about you and your business showing up in other places all the time. We had the example earlier of Stuart. It's going to make the front page of the business paper all over Surrey and Hampshire. That's a great way to become a person of influence. There's going to be an article with him inside explaining about why he is the host of the Hub, and and so on. That will do a great deal for him and his, and it will make his customers feel very happy about buying from him because they will perceive a greater authority and credibility, perhaps, than they did before, even greater. I was just saying.
Sorry,
Again, Keith.
Because one of the things that I did about just over a year ago now was I set up a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Which again, it was the only one at the time. There's a couple of others now, but it is the only weekly podcast about GDPR in the UK.
Okay.
As a result,
Little plug for Keith.
Yeah. But as a result of that, I picked up. I mean, it now has something like 5,000 listeners worldwide every week.
Really? That's good.
It's been in business, and I think podcasts are a very undervalued thing at the moment because you think about when you advertise on the internet, when you advertise on Facebook or whatever, there's lots and lots of people doing that. There aren't that many people doing podcasts.
That's true.
And so it's a you don't need to make as much noise in the market to make it a big.
Well, it comes back to what we were saying Jumpstart January about standing out. It's like, how do you do something that nobody else in your industry is doing? Find the things that maybe the 1% of people are doing. Become the only person to do a GDPR podcast. Fantastic. Who else has a podcast? Esther, looking at you. You finding it works for your business? Are you getting...
I find it ties in nicely with my therapy because it's like I'm giving added value by saying, listen to this, completely relates to what you're going through and helps with the next stage.
Absolutely. And how do people presumably see you differently because you have that authority of having a podcast? Yeah, so fantastic. It's a great way of becoming a key person of influence in your sphere and a great way of adding value to everything that you do. So well done. So we say here, nobody should build a business alone. Just to take you back to my story at the beginning about my business that had all this potential, and I tried to run it on my own, and it just didn't go well. I should have asked for help. Nobody should build a business alone. Daniel Priestley, in this book, I just picked it up and read it again while I was writing this presentation, and he says, he takes it one step further and says, you would be completely mad to try and build a business on your own. There is no way that you can do every single job that there is to do in a business as well as somebody else might be able to do it. None of us would dream of giving our businesses to anybody else to do the marketing if they weren't a qualified, experienced marketer, and yet we feel perfectly happy doing our own marketing when we're not a qualified or experienced marketer. Same with accounts. You wouldn't give your books to an unqualified bookkeeper, an inexperienced bookkeeper, and yet you're unqualified and inexperienced, and you feel perfectly comfortable doing it for yourself. It's completely crazy. So you cannot build a business without support. You cannot build a business successfully and sustainably without good people around you every day. And that is what the Hub is for. So just to bring you back to the reason, our value proposition, my proposal to you all is that if you spend more time with us, we will make you feel more confident, happier, better connected, and more likely to succeed and become the business person that you always set out to be. That's all from me today. And those of you who are considering joining the Hub today, it's time. This is your opportunity to sign up with us now. And Louise is going to be taking you where? Where have we decided?
We're going to go into the back corridor.
Into the back corridor. Okay, it's quite busy today. We have an awful lot going on. We've had our only meeting room booked out as well. We've got co-workers, and so we're in the back corridor. So if you just follow Louise out through that archway. Anybody that's thinking of joining the Hub, now is the time. We've got everything set up for you. We'd love to have you join us and share the rest of your journey with us. Thank you. You've been a lovely audience. See you all again.